That is not what Sasha looks like. Don't say this is an Attack on Titan cosplay. This is an act of blasphemy against the source material. I seriously can't forgive you for this. This is too awful. The unpleasantness has no bounds. Today we're going to introduce the Japanese cosplayer Ichiha Amatsu, who pissed off a lot of fans at Comiket recently with her Sasha cosplay from Attack on Titan, which is pretty unique. And then we're going to discuss when cosplay becomes tasteless in the eyes of fans, and after that we're going to go back to Ichiha Amatsu and expose some truth about her that other enthusiast news outlets are not reporting on, whether they are Japanese or foreign. It's a little bit weird that they left these details in the dark. But before that, I just want to say that I personally don't care too much about how a person chooses to do their cosplay. If you want to dress up as a sexy version of Sasha or Levi, go for it. If you're a bit overweight and you want to cosplay as a thinner character, go for it. If you're not jacked and you want to cosplay as Machio, get jacked. If you have small boobs and you want to cosplay as a DOA girl, go for it. If you're a dog and you want to cosplay as Titus, go for it. I do have my own taste as to what I like in a cosplay, and I have my own opinions on what I think is ridiculous or not ridiculous, but generally speaking, cutting down a person for their personal interpretation of a character, what's wrong with you? That said, there has been debate in cosplay communities and broader anime and game communities about cosplay, and when certain cosplays take it a little bit too far, and I do respect what people are saying about that, so we will discuss that today. But before we dive in, here is the answer to last video's trivia question. The trivia question was, this is an image from a portion of the Vinland Saga manga that takes place in Denmark's Jutland Peninsula. As a depiction of a real-world location, what's wrong with this picture? The answer is, there aren't big mountains like this in Denmark. Denmark is a very flat country. The place in Denmark that is highest above sea level is called Edger Bavnoj Moraj, and this place looks like this. The creator of Vinland Saga, Makoto Yukimura, actually addressed this on Twitter, and he basically just said, oops, and that it would be amended in the anime version of Vinland Saga. Who can blame him? When you're in Japan, you can't even look 360 degrees without seeing mountains, so I guess he's so used to it that he drew it like that without thinking. Stay tuned for another trivia question later in the video, this one about Attack on Titan, and now let's jump into the meat of the matter. Sasha cosplay. This one, relatively well-known cosplayer Ichiha Amatsu is taking serious heat for her Sasha cosplay at Comiket 2019, and by that I mean people are going absolutely ballistic on her for apparently misrepresenting Sasha with this pantless, leotard-wearing interpretation of the character. This is too disgusting. There's not an element of Attack on Titan to be seen in it, and it's at the level where I just want you to quit cosplay. Don't insult the source material. Filthy. Sasha is like this. Totally different from that leotard thing. Anyways, just stop doing Attack on Titan cosplay. Or if you're going to do it, actually research what the clothing is like first. Cosplayer DQ. Never cosplay again. This isn't Sasha. Read the manga. I did a little research on this girl.
You call that research? Charles.
And it's pretty clear that she's a kind of sex appeal first sort of cosplayer. There's nothing wrong with that. She makes it super clear in her messaging on her YouTube, her Instagram, her Twitter that she's a Japanese sexy cosplayer. And while shilling her digital photo albums on YouTube, she even mentions that one of the uses for her pics is masturbation. So it's clear what she's in this for, and as for the cosplays themselves, she tends to choose characters with fairly revealing outfits to begin with, and so the interpretations of these hot 2D women is usually not that far from the source material. So I guess the problem emerged when she tried to take this mindset and cosplay a character who is not typically portrayed in a very sexual manner at all. And she just kind of ham-fistedly tried to make it work when it probably shouldn't have happened. We're going to talk more about why this cosplay is the way it is later. And to the people flipping out, I mean, whatever. I guess it's just Sasha in a leotard, isn't it? Sasha in a leotard dropping an ahegao. Pretty out of character? Yep. At a glance, it definitely seems like a lazy swing at cashing in on a popular but not so sexualized character and turning it into a sexy cosplay in order to gain a little more internet fame, which, although not for the right reasons, seems to be working pretty well. And to be honest, I think if you wanted to do a sexualized Sasha, there are other ways you could do it and pull it off in a way that would also satisfy fans. For example, going as a post-battle Sasha with ripped up clothing and a kind of sexy look to her. or even just wearing her typical outfit but in a sexy way like this fan art. At the very least, if you're going to take the leotard approach, you gotta bring a potato or something, I guess. There is another side to the story, something that we will address shortly, but let's first note that the main criticism here isn't that this cosplay is like too sexy or something. I think 99.599% of people love sexy cosplay. The problem is that it really misrepresents the essence of the character. Not only is it really jarring from a visual standpoint, but it seems totally out of whack with Sasha's personality. Not just to be wearing these kind of clothes, but also dropping the old ahegao everywhere. Even if your main attraction to cosplay is that sometimes it can be super sexy, the reason that you're appreciating cosplay instead of just going on X videos or whatever, it's probably because you share some kind of affinity with the source material, whether it be anime or games or whatever. So when it's clear that a cosplayer seems to lack any reasonable level of familiarity with the source material, or they just don't give a shit and they want to just get internet famous for being a hot bod in a hot costume, that tends to piss people off a lot, even if it's the sexiest cosplay on Earth being put on by the sexiest person on Earth. Cosplay is a way of bringing beloved aspects of the 2D world into the 3D world, and fans usually like to see their favorite characters brought to life as accurately as possible, especially when it comes to cosplayers with followings in the tens and hundreds of thousands. I mean, this is the closest we get to bringing fantasy into reality, and there are certain expectations that come along with that. And speaking specifically about sexy cosplay isn't just lingerie or something like that. People have certain expectations around it. They expect a certain level of respect for the characters from the source material, and if they're scantily clad in the source material, that's great. If not, maybe cosplayers should reassess how they play those characters. What do you think? Back to Uchiha Amatsu. To be honest, I think she's a little bit misunderstood and getting a bit more backlash than she deserves. People just wanted to report on her and rip on her and capitalize on the outrage that would come her way, but I think she needs a fair shake, and it's funny that even a cursory glance at her YouTube channel gives you some indication as to why she chose to go the leotard route with her Sasha cosplay. In short, she straight up markets herself as the super high leg leotard girl Uchiha Amatsu, hence leotards, that's her thing. She does modeling and cosplaying with a focus on wearing sexy leotards. So does it seem a little bit more reasonable why she went with that slightly strange costume? Let me tell you a little bit more about Uchiha Amatsu. She's just a self-styled cosplayer and gravure model. She's been cosplaying now for over 4 years, and she's actually amassed quite a large social media following. And like many cosplayers, she sells these cosplay doujin ROM photo collections, basically digital photo albums of her, and she sells these at events like Comiket. And it seems like a lot of her material, particularly the gravure stuff, focuses on the whole leotard angle, so I guess she is trying to market that at the event. I checked out some of her YouTube videos, which are just normal videos about how to cosplay or other topics that she feels like chatting about, and she really seems pretty chill and down to earth, so it's a bit of a shame that she's becoming well known from being on the end of a shitstorm. She's definitely a huge perv who goes for the sexy angle with her stuff, but she also seems quite self-aware. She basically seems like a pretty chill person, and I definitely get why people are pissed off that her cosplay isn't exactly representative of Sasha, but coming from her perspective, it's also in line with her branding and style, so I'm kind of willing to give her a pass on this. But on the other hand, I do get why fans are really pissed off, and maybe she should take that into account next time she chooses to cosplay a character like Sasha. But what do you think about Uchiha Amatsu and her Sasha cosplay? What do you think of cosplay in general? Personally, I love attending cosplay events here in Japan. People are friendly, it's fun. It's just a nice environment to hang out in for a while and escape from reality for a little bit. On the other hand, is there a point where cosplay becomes too sexy or too off base to the point where it's offensive to the source material? What do you think? And before I forget, here's the trivia question for this video. The question is, who was the Survey Corps leader who preceded Erwin in Attack on Titan? So, have you ever seen a cosplay that irked you, that took it too far, or a cosplay that was just gross? Please share your story in the comments, hit the like button, the subscribe button, definitely hit the notification button so that you actually get notifications about these videos, and yeah, I hope you enjoy my other videos, and let's chat.